tell.
I certainly hope our guest calls in tonight. He never sent me an email to confirm.
Oh.
He just said today's a good date, and
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I
1 minute until showtime.
I'm 4 seconds off.
Yeah, same here. Hello, YouTube. Hopefully you're there. Haven't seen a return back from Facebook, but so far it looks like I'm on. That's a good sign. And then, God, there was something else. Hello, Facebook. There was something else I was going to say about, was it in California, Southern California, they're talking about having cannabis contests like they have for wine, and they actually compared it to wine. They started the news story off, and they said, oh, you know how you can get certain awards for wine? Well, now they're trying to work out a way where you can get an award for the best cannabis. And I was like, are you kidding? And they're talking about range, and they said it's not going to be smoked, to get to the reward, but they're going to compare the color and the everything about it, basically.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3,
we're talking.
2, 1.
Here we go.
Blog Talk Radio.
Here we go.
This is All About Wine, the talk show dedicated to the wine industry since 2009. Featuring winemaker, cellar master, vineyardist, and tasting expert, Ron.
Basically what we're trying to do on this program is just trying to educate people and trying to make wine less confusing and more friendly.
From coast to coast and around the world.
We really have had some neat people on the program. I love that.
Post your questions and comments during the live show on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/allaboutwinebtr. Again, that's www.facebook.com/allaboutwinebtr. And now, All About Wine is on. Here's Ron.
There he is.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And here we
All right, we're back on. And
Thursday.
Mike is back with us this week.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Wow. Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm back from my...
What if I'm getting an echo?
Are you? I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit there on that one I was. Yeah, Mike was gone, like I told you all last week. He went to Southern California, San Diego for the weekend, and he is back with us, and he was just telling me about his flights and stuff.
Yeah. Very cool San Diego. I was surprised that it was going to be that cool. It was landed in the afternoon. It was 77, and that evening it went down to 66, and I wished, because from Florida, I wished I had a coat, because 66 here is coat weather. But it was it was nice. And when it rains, there was a song we talked about. It was It Never Rains in San Diego or
Southern California.
Yeah. It rained. I mean, it was like it was going to blow the hotel apart. And
wow.
Yeah, the I think it was Friday evening. Yeah, it was pouring. And I've like, are they having a hurricane? And I never got that memo or something, but it was terrible. Yeah, really neat area. And I'd go back. There was so many places there that I wanted to see, and I just missed. And I'm kind of, bummed by that, because there, so many things out there. It's a great town. But, missed it.
Yeah, great area. Yeah, it really is. I like San Diego. I've been there, 3 or 4 times, and I've always enjoyed the town when I was there. Yeah, that's surprising. It was that cold and sun, and they do need the rain, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, coming in, you could tell there was. I don't know if it was just regular skies for them, but there was some kind of a brownish glow most of the late afternoon and evening, and I don't know, maybe that was just because I'd never seen it that way before. But I thought first thing I was thinking was, is that smoke from what they've been, the fires and everything? But I don't know. We couldn't tell.
I don't know.
But it was.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just different, but it's good to be there. I've never been there before, and I hope to go back sometime and make it a vacation type of a trip. So there's something.
Yeah, it's an enjoyable area there.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to go to California, though, I think I would prefer Northern California. I really like that area, San Francisco and all that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Southern California, we have a guest tonight. I believe is from Southern California. Michael Jorgen. Is it Jorgen or Jorgen? I was watching some videos and I saw his name pronounced a couple ways. Okay. But without further delay, let's bring him onto the show. Hello, Michael. Welcome to All About Wine.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure for sure. Last name pronounced how?
Jergens, like the lotion.
Oh,
Jergens. Okay, yeah. Oh God, well, I was watching some things that you've been on, and I saw it pronounced Jorgens. Like it was Swedish or something. I don't know. So Jergens is a lot easier. So a lot of stuff to talk about. I didn't say too much about you, and so I want you to start out simply by telling us where you're from and how you got into wine and anything else that you would like to say before we start getting into your Bhutan adventure.
Sure. So I was born and raised in Southern California, beach kid. And, about in my 20s, got introduced to wine and realized how cool it was and started going in deeper and deeper and deeper. And then next thing you know, I'm accumulating a bunch of industry certifications and writing a bunch of books about wine and, doing wine as my, primary occupation. And then building a wine industry in the Himalayas. So it's crazy how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Yeah, that's the thing. I have to point out something though. I've been looking at interviews that you've done, and I've been reading some things that they've written about you and all that. And for some reason, every interview and everything that's written about you always talks about he is a young winemaker with a beard and tattoos. And I don't know why that was always brought up, especially the tattoos. I mean, tattoos is so accepted now, but they always seem to want to mention that. Does your tattoos have any significance, or is it just something you've done over the years? And I'm curious about that.
It is astonishing to me how people always want to talk about the tattoos. I think I spent a significant amount of time and money getting some really artistic, creative tattoos done by one of the top guys in the world. And so I think it's not so much that I have them; it's that they're, you just look at them and you haven't seen anything like them typically. And so I think that's why people kind of lose their shit about my tattoos.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm going, you've got so much more going for you besides just tattoos. Everybody's got tattoos now. I mean, I don't, but I mean, you're seeing tattoos on just about everybody. You go to high schools, we're seeing tattoos on some of the kids there. So it's not a big deal anymore, but it just seemed like everybody wanted to bring up your tattoos. So I just wanted to find out if it was.
No, they're pretty striking. I mean, I have the kind of tattoos that I'll literally be walking through the Costco and someone will grab my arm and go, "Oh my God, can I look at you?" Or can I take a picture with you?
Oh my gosh,
sure, I guess. Yeah, why not?
You go, no, witness protection, and just walk away. Wow, that strikes me as odd. Because tattoos aren't unique anymore. Well, the tattoos themselves can be, but I mean, tattoos in general aren't unique anymore. So, just all.
Yeah, there used to be, I think, quite the stigma right? But quite the stigma around tattoos, back in the day, and now they're pretty mainstream. And so, you'd think of all the interesting things that I, do and can talk about. People gravitate to tattoos.
And that's just, and here I am talking about them too. But it just seemed odd that you have so much that we can talk about, and yet, the interviews I was seeing, the books I was reading, and articles, and everybody always mentioned the tattoos. So, at least that clarifies it. It's because they are unique. That's why.
And we've perpetuated the talk about tattoos on podcasts.
And yet again, look at that. Again, we talked about tattoos. Your tattoos. Jeez. So I guess that's just you're going to have to start putting that as part of your name. You just Michael, the wine man with tattoos, and maybe that will set you apart a little bit there. As if there's nothing else to set you apart, you have to be the wine man with tattoos. You do a newsletter. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I think for years, my friends who've been kind of mildly curious about wine, but not enough to actually spend any time learning about it, were really after me to give them recommendations. Like what wine should I drink? What wine should I buy? And I'm like, I don't buy what you like, drink what you like. Spend as much money as you feel comfortable spending. Like whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I was on a plane and I was reading this book. This is right before the pandemic started. I was on this plane and I was reading this book by a relatively celebrated wine author, and the author was ripping on Chenin Blanc. And I was incensed. Matter of fact, I'm drinking a Chenin Blanc right now while I'm talking to you. South African Reserve Chenin. It's spectacular. Chenin's awesome. And so I'm reading this book, and I'm on this plane, and I'm getting pissed. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're a wine expert? How could you say that Chenin? You might say that you don't like it. It might not be, the style may not be your preference, but you can't say it's a bad grape. Like it's a great grape. So I get home and I write this. Yeah, so I got home and I wrote an email to like 10 of my friends saying, you know what? If you want to try something new, go try some Chenin Blanc and get it from Vouvray or Savinier. They make it in a couple different styles, and screw this guy.
Really?
I sent this email out, and they all responded. They're like, this is amazing. Give us another one. And so I gave them another one, and then they forwarded it to their friends, and their friends started emailing me. And next thing you know, I got like hundreds and thousands of people like emailing me for wine recommendations.
Waiting with bated breath for your next recommendation.
Serious. Honestly, they were like, "Hey, when's the next one coming out?" And so, and then the pandemic started, and we had nothing but time. And so, like every week, I sent out this wine recommendation. Like here, Assyrtiko, you've never heard of this grape before, but here's why it's cool, and you should go try some. And it became literally like all over the globe, people were getting their hands on this thing. And so it was kind of crazy how I never intended it to be the success it has turned into. It was just me telling my friends, go drink some Chenin. It's pretty cool. But I think that's one of the things that's made it successful is the fact that I don't overwhelm people with a bunch of obscure information, and I make it kind of accessible, and I make it fun, and like, hey, and also, it's not intimidating. Try this. You might like it, you might hate it, and either answer is fine. Figure out what you like and what you don't like.
That's really what it's all about,
That's what it's all about. And so I packaged up the first 52 issues, and I turned it into a book with the idea that someone could take it and like do a wine a week for a year, and at the end of the year be pretty damn knowledgeable about wine. And then the book turned into a bestseller, and like it's just this crazy thing.
Oh my! Well, that's your newsletter. You still doing your weekly newsletter?
I'm still doing my weekly newsletter. Yep. As a matter of fact, I sent one out today on sherry.
Oh.
The sherry, and people are.
Did you see where they're revamping sherry. They just revamped the Chianti and different classifications, and they're talking about doing it to sherry now.
I did see that, and they also changed the aging requirements from like 3 years in cellar to 2. So that actually went into effect, right? I'm not sure what I think about that. Like, on the one hand, it's kind of cool that we're evolving and we're trying new things, but there's a piece of me that's kind of like the way that you did it before was pretty awesome. People just didn't understand it, so they didn't buy it.
Right.
And so rather than changing, what worries me when we start changing stuff is everyone plants Chardonnay and then oaks it. And then you end up with, the oak Chardonnay out of sherry. And I just don't, the world doesn't need that. We need more, aged Amontillado.
Yeah. And the thing is with sherry, I like sherry. I'm a sherry fan. But when they start cutting back on the aging, I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, doesn't that affect the taste? And isn't that going to affect a lot of stuff about it? But I don't know. I guess maybe they think they know best. They've been doing it for so long. So.
Well, I think what it is it just hasn't grown. If anything, it's a shrinking category, and you got to do something.
Yeah,
I maybe would have pumped more money into some marketing and gotten people to try it and understand what it is and appreciate it. But instead, we're changing up. I'm doing my part though. I'm sending out, today I sent out my weekly newsletter that was like, "Hey, everybody, sherry's awesome. You should go try some."
Yes, definitely. I mean, that's a good recommendation for anybody who listens to the show. Drink sherry; it's good stuff, and there's all sorts of sherries from around the world,
and super cheap for the quality. Like for $30, you could get just a 30-year-old sherry. Like, where else are you going to get that kind of value?
That's very true. And it doesn't take a whole lot to appreciate it either, because it's a very simple, easy wine or wine product, great product to appreciate. And you can get the sweet ones, and people tend to gravitate towards sweet, and you can get the sweet ones and enjoy it, and it can pair up with, different things that you're having. So it's something that I think is overlooked a lot when people start talking about wine. Sherry and port are a couple of the two great products that I think are ignored too much. So, but that's just my opinion. I'd throw. I agree with that wholeheartedly, and I would throw Madeira into that discussion as well. That's another one. Yeah, that's just spectacular that people don't even pay attention to at all. Yeah, and it's just all great products, and people are always, well, what's a good wine to have? Well, try these. These are something that you can probably just really go crazy on. And ports,